Okay, we're live. So guys, we're gonna be doing what if Deku had VeilFire. So EyelessJack is going first.
What's good, people? Anyway, so what VeilFire is? It's a made up fire that we thought about, and it's basically mixing black flames and blue flames together, giving him a combination color of black and blue. But we're also gonna add a little something to it. Deku will not unlock it until he gets one for all. So, and now that the background information is basically done, we're just gonna jump right in. We start at the age of 4, where Deku goes to the quirk doctor. The quirk doctor says that he does have a quirk, but he's gonna be a very late bloomer. After Deku hears it, it kind of like pains him because he has to wait longer than the other people. And okay, sorry. People don't bully him, but they also do bully him a bit. Katsuki though, Bako, I don't think he would bully Deku. He would actually train with Deku and he would train Deku because he never knows what his quirk might be. His quirk might be like a body enhancement, so if Deku trains, he'll basically become supernatural or superhuman stats times 3 or something. So time skip to the beginning of anime, where everything pretty much goes again, except when everyone laughs at Deku for using his quirk, or for trying to even think about going to UA. Bako lets off a huge explosion, not being late, saying, "You guys want to down Deku, fine, but think about your quirks. You guys are too much of pussies to actually try. I mean, you, long nose. What's your quirk? To have a boner on your nose?" Alright, your turn, Shinobi.
So you just said Deku Kachan was harassing Deku, right?
Huh?
So so after this encounter, Deku's kind of sad, and he goes home, thinking, when am I gonna lock my quirk? So he's really sad, and he decides to go on a little walk. When he goes on a walk, a sludge villain attacks him, and the sludge villain is on Deku, and Deku is screaming for his life. When All Might comes and flicks his finger, which sends out a gust of air, freeing Deku. Um, the sludge villain gets captured, and right before All Might leaps away, Deku grabs onto his feet. And Deku says, "Will I ever be a hero without a quirk?" Because at this point, he doesn't even think he's gonna get it. And All Might says, "You can't." And the next day, Deku comes with, basically. So the next day, All Might comes and he says, "I'll give you my quirk." So they start the training. Deku's a buffer. He's bigger because he trains his body. So he trains. He picks up the garbage, and when it's done, he gets All Might's hair. Onto you, EyelessJack.
So after he gets All Might's hair, it's found out that Deku did train on his body extra hard with this. So I believe Deku would be able to control around 8 to 10% of One For All. And when this happened, Deku suddenly just went into bursts of tornado flames, blue and black to be exact, and then the flames were complete. All Might said that he thinks by him passing on the quirk, his quirk finally unlocked, making Deku extremely happy. All Might told Deku to never tell anyone about One For All, but he could tell people about his fire. And Deku thinks he's gonna call it VeilFire because it's just a cool name. He calls Bako and he tells Bako that his quirk unlocked. It was a fire quirk mixed with blue flames and black flames. After Bako hears this, he says, "Well, Deku, don't you dare think I've been holding back. I've been training extra hard." So, we time skip to the UA entrance exam where Deku is waiting for Bako. Bako arrives and says, "Hey, Deku, so let me see that quirk of yours." As Deku just lets off a quick little black of his VeilFire, Bako says, "Hey, that was kind of like my explosion. Except they don't explode." Bako says, "Don't get cocky. Let's just walk in." as they walk in, and Deku, having one for all and having VeilFire, is a lot more confident, so he doesn't trip on himself. Deku in the written exam, he passes higher in the grade because he's more confident, getting like fourth place in the written exam. Now the practical exam is where things get really interesting. Where as soon as President Mike yells, "What are you doing? There's no villain. There's no countdowns in a villain battle. Go!" As everyone blasts in, Deku uses 10% one for all, and because he's not an idiot and was let down for all of his life, he somewhat has a form of shoot style, but like it's not perfected. So after this, Deku goes on to destroy a decent amount of villains' combat points. Deku in the next 10 minutes gets a decent point, around 109 villain combat points. After this, he hears a scream and everyone running away. Deku asks a random person, "Hey, why are you guys running?" The guy says, "Run! It's the giant robot! Our quirk can't handle that thing!" As Deku looks at him. Deku's about to run away until he heard a scream. On to you, Shinobi.
Okay, so Deku uses his veil flames to put on his feet like kind of a jet engine, and he runs really fast, and he runs to the giant robot, and kind of using about I'm gonna say 30% of his power. That's the max he can use right now. He trained a lot more, so he can use more than 10%, I'm gonna say. So he charges up a fist with kind of veil flames going off it, kind of like a rocket punch. He jumps up into the sky using his flames as a propulsion, and he punches the giant robot in his face. And the robot falls down. Deku's fist breaks, and he kind of hovers around with his flames, and he goes down, and he grabs Uraraka and goes to he takes her to the paramedic. So Deku got rescue points, and he got into UA. So about the next day, he receives a card, and All Might appears in it, and he explains to Deku that he passed. So he goes to class, and Aizawa comes in I'm pretty sure he comes in laying down, and they're wondering, is this our teacher? He kind of looks sickly. Are you guys sure this is our teacher? Maybe he's somebody else. And Aizawa says, "Yes, I'm your teacher." And he says, "Before we begin class, before we start, we're gonna have a test, and if you fail, you will be expelled. On to you, EyelessJack."
So after Aizawa announces this, Ochako screams, "Hey, but you can't do that." Aizawa says, "Well, technically, I am the teacher, and the UA principal here allows us to teach however we want. So either you listen to me, girl, or I will fail you and make sure you are expelled." So after this, they go put on their gym clothes. Bakugo wants to come to talk to Deku about his quirk and gives him a couple of tips because he also has a fire quirk. And yes, Deku doesn't have explosions, but explosion is a fire quirk nonetheless. So he's just explaining to Deku the advantages and the disadvantages. After doing this, Aizawa would throw the ball to Bakugo, telling Bakugo how far did he throw it when he was in middle school without using his quirk. 63 meters, I believe. This time use your quirk. Full power. Bakugo smirks and says, "This is gonna be a blast," making a pun. As he reels back his hand, throws, making a massive explosion, yelling, "Die!" As he throws the ball 776.9 meters long. Everyone getting impressed. And then next is Deku. Aizawa tells him to throw the ball, and this time, don't break your arms like you did in the practical exam, kid. Deku says, "Oh, okay," as he powers up 10%. of One for All in his left or right arm, and powers 30% of his VeilFire at the same time, enhancing it to a good 40%. And Deku uses the VeilFire, and without him knowing it, let off a bit of an explosion when he threw the ball. By him mixing One for All and VeilFire together, he actually made a little explosions like Bakugo. So this sent the ball flying even farther and would get around 809.6 meters long. Everyone would get even more impressed, and Bakugo, he would notice it. He would say, "What the hell? How did he have my quirk?" As everything would go mechanic except Deku. Sorry? Okay, I'll just continue. So, after this happened, Deku would continue to go everything in canon, except because he's more smart and he can use about a percentage of One for All, he actually does a lot better. Like in the 50-meter dash, he uses his VeilFire to manipulate it and to give him a boost in his legs. He also used 10% of One for All in both of his legs, spreading them out evenly, putting 5% in both legs, so he ran extra fast, getting first place by 1.9 seconds. And the group test, he got third with he got second. Shoji beat him. Third was Kirishima, and fourth was Bakugo. And when the final results came in, it turned out that Bakugo or Deku got second place in the entire exam, with Momo getting first, seeing as her quirk can help her in any kind of situation. The person who got last was Mineta, and Mineta was expelled. On to you, Shonobi.
Okay, so following on them, so after the exams, they do a bit of work and they have to choose their name. Deku doesn't choose his name right away. It'll probably be revealed in the next part because we're gonna think about it. So then about 2-3 hours later, they go home. On their way home, Bakugo says, "You think you're better than me? You think you're better than me? Getting second place? You wanna die?" And Deku, now confident after getting his quirk, says that me die. I think you should be talking about yourself. And Bakugo kind of lets out a tiny explosion, trying to threaten um, Deku. But Deku mixes some of his One for All into his flames, which is when he does this, it actually turns green into a kind of a radiation fire, and he lets out an explosion. Oh my! I'm sorry for my little brother, guys. So yeah, so he mixes the VeilFire with the One for All, creating kind of a radiation explosion, and a kind of a big boom goes off. The explosion being tiny, but still kind of having an impact because of pressure. And Kachin kind of backs off a little bit, and he says, "Deku, I'll get you next time." And Deku goes home after a day of good work. So the next day is the hero villain test. So on to you, EyelessJack.
So in this hero versus villains test, I'm gonna actually do something real weird, and I'm gonna put Bakugo and Deku in the same team. Why I'm gonna do this is because I just I want to make it a little bit interesting. Deku and Bakugo would be in the heroes team as they would be fighting Lita and Ochako. Bakugo was saying, "Okay, look, you quirkless Deku, or you useless Deku. I have explosives and I'm stronger than you, so I'll go in the office while you wait out here." Deku's like, "Boy, I have a quirk, Koski. You should maybe rethink that strategy. And I have an idea. Seeing as you have explosives and there's a speedy Gonzalo in the other team, and your explosives could catch up to him, you fight him and try to get the bomb. I'll fight the girl." And Bakugo's like, "Whatever, Deku. Let's just do it." As in the Ochako and
Hmm?
Alright.
Continue.
So, Ida and Ochako are thinking of an idea to counter Ida or Bakugo and Midoriya. Seeing as their cores are pretty powerful and they seem pretty experienced, even though Deku only unlocked it like 6 months ago or something. Ida thinks that he should go after Bakugo, falling right into Deku's ideas trap. Because he's pretty fast and there's no way Explosive Boy can really catch up to him. And seeing as you have zero gravity, his fire shouldn't be able to touch you. Ochako, just wanting to pass, goes with it. Ochako would go out to fight Deku as Bakugo would just look for Lita. They would go up the 5th floor stairs as Deku would see Ida or Ochako. Ochako would be like, I'm taking you, green hair. You, explosive, you get to pass by. As Bakugo was about to let off a massive explosion towards her, but Deku reminded him of the plan. Bakugo was saying, whatever, Deku. As Ochako let him pass, he's like, now you will not get past through me. Deku's like, yeah, okay, girl, let's just get it over with. As Ochako came running towards Deku, her strategy was just to try to touch him with just one finger, or like, her hand. Deku would have already analyzed her quirk during the quirk assessment test. So, Ochako would say, you're falling right into my trap! Lunging towards him, hopefully touching him. Deku would duck over it and would send a massive 10% punch at Ochako's gut. And then he wouldn't stop there. He would have mixed 10% of One For All with his VeilFire, creating a green radiation explosives. And because of the heat of the moment, I would say he would have a bit more powerful explosives than he did with Bakugo in his little encounter. And this would catch her by off guard, so I believe she would be knocked out. Going to Bakugo and Ida, as soon as Bakugo opened the door and closed it, would send a massive kick towards Bakugo. And Bakugo, not expecting this, would actually get hit by them. Bakugo would say, alright, I'm done playing around with you already. As he already sent off a massive gauntlet explosion. This was the one that contained more than the other one, so Ida really had to dodge it and would say, you rely way too much on your gauntlets. But Bakugo wasn't there anymore. Bakugo would say, and you rely way too much on it, as he would turn around only to get a massive explosion to the Bakugo getting more tough in this and a bit more would actually go for a bit of judo slam and would use his explosives as a punch, but really just exploding him over and over. As Deku walks in and he says he's still not done with him, might as well finish this off. As he runs and lets off a 10% kick to Ida, knocking him out. Bakugo and Deku touch the bomb as Bakugo said, I had him, Deku. Deku then says, you were just playing around with him. On to you, Shinobi.
So yeah. Okay.
Same, but like I still
Okay, so they pick a representative, which is Deku, and they go into the USJ incident. The USJ incident goes a little bit like this. So a bunch of villains start coming, and Deku sees this, and he tells Ida, go and get help. Ida goes to fight All Might and other heroes. Meanwhile, Deku um helps defend. So one villain with a strength quirk rushes Deku. Deku dodges the punch and he uses his rocket fist and gut punches him, which makes him pass out. Another villain with an ice quirk starts launching ice like kind of ice knives at Deku. Deku melts all of the knives and he kind of rushes him and kicks him in the face, knocking him out. And then one problem, the no move comes. The no move surprises Deku and punches him in the gut. And Deku sees this and he's almost unconscious and he says, I think I'm gonna have to use my trump card. And he does a kind of an aura, a black cloak. And it kind of enhances all his abilities, everything. So and then Deku says, "I call this the nuke," and he kind of claps his hands together and kind of forms of kind of like a karate chop, and he points in the direction, and his hands gets imbued with red green fire, and his legs get imbued with it too, and it kind of you kind of like hear a sonic boom, and when the sonic boom goes off, Deku body just goes through the Nomu. The Nomu looks at his gut and he doesn't even move. And Deku's thinking, what is he? I just went through his body. And All Might comes and beats up the Nomu, forcing all the villains to retreat. Shigaraki at home base is thinking, damn that kid. We could have killed All Might. So, back to you, EyelessJack.
So after this, Tomura would take a real interest in Deku, but I would also really hate him, wanting to kill him, but couldn't really do anything. After the Nomu was defeated, I believe Kurogiri would just leave the area to back to Tomura. Because of this, and because of Deku doing what he did to the Nomu, Aizawa didn't get his injuries. So the sports festival would happen, and they have like a week to train, and they have a week off in general because of the attack. After this, Deku, I believe, would train on One for All and his quirk in general, and would gain about 2% in One for and maybe 3% in his regular quirk. So Deku would be able to control 12% of One for and 30 to 33% of his. Then this is where the sports festival happens, where Deku or All Might gives Deku an encouraging speech and pretty much demands Deku to win. After being in the locker, Todoroki would approach Deku saying how he's not going to win this, and because he's more like All Might, I will win this. Baku saying, it's not going to be either one of you, because I'm going to win this. As they just ignore him, because he's just a brat who just keeps on talking way too much. So the first part is the race. When Todoroki tries to freeze the ice the same way, Deku would see this immediately and would let off a little how do you say fire bomb, just to not it's not really a bomb, it's just like a mini explosives on his legs, so the ice didn't touch him. And when he said go, Deku did 12% One for All in every part of his body and made a 33% boost on his legs engine. So he was able to keep up with Todoroki at the same speed, except he was an inch in front of Todoroki because of his One for All. Todoroki would get mad at this and would also try his best. Would try to send the robots to try to hit Deku, but Deku would see this easily and kick them back. One of them actually hitting Todoroki off his ice, surprising Todoroki, making Bakugo go flying past it. Todoroki would be enraged by that point and would use his eyesight to boost even more. And because nothing really changes, the only thing that changes is that Deku gets first place without using the little strategy he did in the canon. His arms isn't broken. Deku still holds the 10 million points, and everyone give him the death glare. Deku's team does change a bit, with his team being consistent of Kirishima, Tokuyama, and Shoji. Shoji is doing what he did in the canon, where he's making a little arm cave on top of Deku so no one can get the points. Tokuyama is on the left, covering a bit of ground, and Kirishima's on the right, blocking any attacks from there. And because of this, their strategy is just to move around and hopefully just to let other people attack themselves. As this plan does work, except Todoroki did let off a couple of attacks here and there that may have gotten Deku's 10 mil, but Deku was way too fast with his quirk and used his VeilFire whenever Todoroki was too cocky. So he would pass with the 10 million points. The teams that would pass was Team Bakugo, Team Todoroki, Team Midoriya, and Team Shino. Or, what's his purple hair boy, Shinso. And then this is where the one-on-one fights happen, which is where everyone is excited for the first one to be Shinzo versus Deku. Deku, he doesn't really like see Shinzo as an opponent, and really he just wants to get this stupid thing over with. So he doesn't really talk to Shinzo because Ojiro would still warn him about his. Shinzo would say, "Wow, must be nice having such an amazing quirk. I'm sure your parents praised you." Deku and his mind would say, "It would be funny. Maybe my parents would have praised me if I was born with it." But he would be in front of him and would let off a massive 12% punch to Shinzo's guts. He would then made a flame fist with his VeilFire, punching him in the face, mixing it with 2% of one for all, just enough to get Shinzo out of the ring. And then the next match, well, the next important match happens, which is Todoroki versus Deku. Shinobi X, it's your turn. Yeah.
So the fight between Deku and Todoroki. So at the start of the match, Todoroki lets out a giant ice beam or an ice attack. Deku lets out his black and blue flames, which burn the ice. Deku every time Todoroki does the ice attack, Deku would just burn through it. And Todoroki kind of does his ultimate ability, and he surrounds the whole ring with ice. Thinking Deku is frozen, Todoroki lets down his guard. Then Deku lets out a giant green radiation kind of fire which burns everything. And and Todoroki kind of feels sick because radiation is not good for you. And he feels like he's gonna faint. But then he thinks I'm gonna have to use my fire sword. And he uses his fire sword with conjunction of his ice attack. And Deku sees that Todoroki is gonna do some kind of attack. So he activates his cloak and kind of does his ultimate ability, kind of the nuke. And he claps his hands together and he points at Todoroki and a loud boom goes off while Deku launches through the ice and fire. And when the smoke clears up, Deku's hand is on Todoroki's neck. And Deku declared the winner. So that's where I'm gonna leave it off, guys. EyelessJack, go sub to him. There's gonna be a link in the description, so you guys will be able to see his video. Get EyelessJack to 1,000 subs. He's nearly there. So that's where I'm gonna leave it off, guys. Hope you enjoyed.